Have you ever had a moment in your life when you were devastated and you just didn't know what exactly to do next? Carl felt the same way a few years ago. Carl had a scholarship and was studying with his girlfriend in the first semester at the same university. He spent most of his time as a student partying at clubs and playing video games online, and at some evenings he would spend time with his girlfriend. He thought that university time was for partying, having fun, and just enjoying life. And there's enough time for a family and a job after graduation. As a result, he neglected his girlfriend and his studies. One night, the two of them got into a heated argument because he was spending too much time partying instead of taking time for his relationship or getting his studies under control. The argument led to her breaking up with him in the end. One sentence hurt him so much that he couldn't forget it until today. "You are a failure, Carl, and you can never be something important." At this point, the world fell apart for Carl. His girlfriend had broken up with him, and because of his performance in his studies, he had also lost his scholarship. He had nothing left and was devastated. It was semester vacation and he had to decide how it should go on for him now. One thing he knew for sure, he didn't want to be a failure anymore and wanted to prove to everyone that he could become something. He replaced his video games for a full-time job as a delivery man and spent his evenings at the gym instead of the club. His goal was to be able to finance his studies in the future, build up a good body, and save enough money to buy a nice car so that everyone would see that he had become someone important. As time went by, Carl got more and more into a flow. He went to work every day and afterwards he went to the gym. He had also decided to eat healthy and not to eat junk food or drink any alcohol. He continued his routine and got more and more used to his new routine until it became a habit for him. He felt much better and could see that life was looking brighter again. He was getting closer to his goal every day, and through the sport and the new diet, he felt healthy and full of energy. After the semester vacations, Carl had been able to save enough money for the coming semester, and even a little more than that. Now, the time had come to attack the studies with the same drive and stamina. However, he had quickly realized that he had taken on too much, and so he scaled down his full-time job to a part-time job, to make sure he could attend every lecture so as not to fall behind. No matter how he felt, he always stayed loyal to his routine. He attended class, went to work, and ended the day by working out. He had kept up this routine throughout college and graduated with honors. He had managed to turn the wheel of his life around and develop from a lazy and disoriented person to a successful person who can shape his destiny and future with his own hands. Carl became a disciplined person who achieves his goals. But how exactly did he do that? First of all, Carl had a strong why. He had an important reason to change something. The pain of the breakup and the loss of his scholarship had forced him to change something. Because if he didn't earn money, he wouldn't be able to continue his studies, and the painful words would have become the reality. Studies have shown that a strong motivational reason allows people to tap into willpower reserves that they might not otherwise have been able to. This reminds me of the movie with Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness. In this movie, Will Smith as the main character was abandoned by his wife and had to live on the street with his 5-year-old son. And he had to give everything to get through the internship and the exam as a stockbroker as the best in order to get a permanent job so he could provide his son with a happy life. However, studies have also shown that a strong motivational reason can only serve as a buffer or temporary solution to increase willpower, and that willpower still has a finite limit. In our example, Carl had a strong motivational reason for why he was trying to take on more responsibility. But this doesn't mean that this reason can motivate him to do an infinite number of things for an infinite amount of time. He had the goal of paying for college, completing it at an extraordinary level, and buying a desirable car all at the same time. It would be incredibly difficult, if not impossible, no matter how strongly motivating his why is. But in our case, Carl started by focusing on just one task, and that was studying. He had put his desires of owning a car on hold and focused completely on his studies. As with working out and changing his diet, Carl had focused on one task for the moment. And as soon as they became a habit, he had moved on to the next task. The key to success is to use your willpower wisely, applying it to single activities and making them habits first before moving on to another activity. To strengthen willpower and train it like a muscle, small, simple routines can be adopted, such as making the bed every morning or drinking a glass of water in the morning. Because when an activity becomes a habit, it consumes much less willpower and is easy to maintain. But how did Carl manage not to fall back into old patterns and give into temptation? Carl had a plan in addition to a strong why in case of temptation from friends, for example. In fact, there is a certain technique for this. The what-if technique. A super strategy to deal with temptations that we know are approaching us so as not to succumb to temptations once willpower is low. In other words, an automatic and pre-planned reaction to temptations. This is how Carl managed to change his life and turn a difficult situation into a happy future.